All right, let's think about the adjustment to a supply event. And we start off here, and this is our original supply curve. This is our demand curve. That doesn't change. And the event that happens is there's some increase in baking technology, and it's cheaper to bake bread, increase in supply. And so we're trying to think about how we get from A to B, and we're imagining that moment after A where the price is still €2 a loaf, and there's still 5,000 loaves sold. And notice, explain why the bakeries would want to increase sales. Well, the bakeries are making a lot of money on the bread they're making, and if they could increase output, they could make even more money. So if it's €2 a loaf, and now it only costs them $1.50 a loaf, they're rolling in the money. And man, wouldn't it be better if they made 5,020 loaves? So they're interested in making more money. Now, if the price doesn't fall, if it stays €2 a loaf, there's everybody that wants to pay €2 a loaf has a loaf. So to get those more sales, they're going to have to drop the price a little bit on the bread. And so lo and behold, they can increase sales, but they're going to have to discount a little bit to get those sales. But they're still doing really well, right? Their costs are still plenty lower than the price they can get if we start at A. But that process, you see, ends up pushing us toward point B. And it's not just the sellers that gain. Notice that a restaurant noticed that these sellers, man, they're really eager to sell me more bread. And a restaurant could say, hey, I'll buy more bread. Just sell them to me for €1. I see this is €2. This is, what is this? This is, it's not too far off of €1.50, as I said. Anyway, I'll buy more bread, but give it to me for €1.75, and then I'll buy twice. I'll double my order. Anyway, the sellers gain because they can ask for a lower price from these sellers, and the sellers will be interested in talking about it because they need to get that extra bread sold. So buyers and sellers both can take advantage. And of course, this process all pushes us toward B, where at B, then there isn't any disequilibrium. There's no people that want to buy at €1.50 a loaf buy, and people that want to sell, and there's not this aggressive rent seeking that moves the market to a new equilibrium. Now, the Hayek points out the adjustment process like the one we just talked about, but then this number 2 just asks us to do some basic manipulations of the supply-demand model. So we want to show what happened in the U.S. raw cotton market. Then we want to talk about what happened in the Indian cotton market, and then we want to think about the English textile market. And they want us to just show a single firm. This is market firm. Let's that'll be easy to do. I'm just gonna, maybe I'll shrink this a little bit, can I? I can get 3 supply demand curves in this little one screen. All right, so let's look at the U.S. raw cotton market. These little thumbnail sketches. Dollars per bale. I don't know what a bale is. Thousands of bales per year. And we have this initial market, demand, supply, some equilibrium price, some equilibrium quantity. There we go. And now along comes the Civil War, and the South really is eager to sell, but the North blockades the ports, and so it becomes much more expensive to get cotton out there. A lot of the boats that are shipping cotton are sunk, or the cotton is interdicted at the the port. Depends on what the union is controlling. In any case, the supply is reduced. There's less of it, makes it to market, and the price of what does make it to market is more expensive. I just showed the price going up a bit. Apparently in the Civil War it went up by a ton. So that's the U.S. raw cotton market in Lincoln got inaugurated in January 1861, so it was like, March 1861, something like that. All right, now we've got the increase in the price of Indian cotton. In India, what happened in India was that India also grew cotton. It was of an inferior grade, but it, given that one couldn't get the U.S. stuff that was really good, you could still operate if you could get the stuff from India. So the collapse of the U.S. cotton market because of this embargo was good news if you were a cotton producer in India, because the British textile operators that couldn't buy cotton in the United States went over to India and bought cotton there. We saw prices rise, quantity of raw Indian cotton went up, and then maybe I'll look at what happened to a typical cotton seller in the next panel. I ran out of room there. So now we have a United Kingdom textile mill, and cotton was the input. And there's this quantity in bales. Now it's yards of cloth. I guess I'm going to say with this red pen, yards of cloth per year. Price is $1 per yard. And there's just this constant world price for textiles. And there's some initial marginal cost curve. No, we don't need that subscript. And we see that the profit maximizing output would be at Q naught. Now, when producers lost access to U.S. cotton and bought Indian cotton instead, not only, the Indian cotton got more expensive, but the British textile operators had to retool their factories to even be able to process the Indian cotton. And so what we see there is that the producer marginal cost went up. And for the time being, I'll assume that the price of textiles stays constant. But in the textile producer produced less textiles because of this event.